Tsasiki.ua. I am Kiro, and this is Oiruan. I've been making a Conlang called Pa'aiki'a'e Oiruan. For simplicity, I will not use the Oiruan alphabet, only the English romanization in this video. And keep in mind, I'm basically a toddler trying to give a TED Talk. I am not qualified to talk about linguistics. But without further ado, Oiruan is a personal Conlang. Unlike naturalistic Conlangs, with evolutionary history and full-on cultures and environments, this is very much just an experimental Conlang, with not much else to it. I was inspired by the secret languages that some twins develop in their childhoods, and wanted to make a language that an artist could have made with their character, based on each other's perceptions of the world, to create words and vocabulary. It's not a concept to take to heart. I have friends that provide enough love and support to not be talking to a sheet of paper. It's just a fun idea and nothing more. Here is the chart for the Oiruan letters. I'll focus on the sounds for now. Writing can come later. The sounds are A, I, U, O, Y, W, H, A, E, Sh, D, F, K, B, M, R, A, J, D, V, G, B, N. Oiruan is atonal and does not differentiate vowel length. Y and W can be put together with a vowel to form diphthongs. There are no S, Z, or aspirated sounds like P, T, and K, because I wanted Oiruan to sound softer and not too aggressive. Oiruan permits consonant clusters, the most common being DZ, J, and TS, Ch. Palatalization and labialization with Y and W are also allowed. Stress is always on the final syllable of a root word. Prefixes are stressed, while suffixes are not. Like marush, but marusha'o and marusho. Keep in mind that in to grow, the constraints of the software meant he couldn't actually pronounce some sounds properly. A lot of them were approximated and weren't accurate. Back to the letters. A, E, and E have interchangeable stylistic variants in Oiruan writing. Oiruan writing is supposed to be more like Chinese or Korean. All letters of a root word are meant to be fused into one glyph, and they can be written in whatever fashion you'd like, so long as it's unambiguous and readable. This means that there's more freedom in writing, and even the way you write down your name could be personalized. Though this isn't practical to be turned into a font, as literally every single combination has to be considered and translated into millions of characters just for a few morphemes. So you can only type the font like a generic alphabet. Both the English and Oiruan scripts can be used to write down the language with no ambiguity whatsoever, as each phoneme is mapped to each letter in each system. Here are miscellaneous symbols used in both systems. The period is used as both a full stop and as an affix mark. It separates the root word from the affix, and is also put at the end of root words to show that they are not actual derivations. The colon is an ordinary colon, and also an iteration mark. Iteration is used to change the meaning of a word. More on that later. It can also change the pronunciation of the word, depending on the root word iterated. Other punctuation marks are the same as in English. But in Oiruan writing, symbols used for punctuation are isolated from adjacent words, with spaces. This isn't necessary when romanized. Capitalization is the same as English when romanized as well, only for the beginning of sentences and proper nouns. Oiruan is a head initial, agglutinative language. The word order is subject, verb, object, SVO. Nouns are written before their adjectives, adpositions are before nouns, and the items are written before their owners. A passive verbal prefix, ke, is used to denote passive voice. There are no cases, no grammatical plural, and no traditional tenses. Oiruan grammar is very much like that of Malays, albeit there are some differences. Root words generally carry more than one meaning, which is narrowed down through morphological derivation, a fancy word for affixes. There are three main perceptual forms of a root word: neutral, creatorial, creational. These forms are used to differentiate between the perceptions I mentioned earlier. creatorial and creational forms are indicated with suffixes, while the unmodified neutral form is not denoted. Each perceptual form can also be expanded into 5 other suffixes. Derivation can make words that have different but correlated meanings to the root words, mainly based on the interpretation and perception towards said root word. For example, jichuk, meaning crumble, abandon, splits into its creatorial form of jichuki and creational form jichaku. The idea is, when a creator crumples a piece of paper, the creation sees it as abandoning it and everything inside. Most words are expanded like this. The neutral suffixes are usually to form abstract or all-encompassing words, like washu'i, meaning paper, washu'u, meaning world, but washu means the temporal present, or now. Some words, like jichuk, do not have a neutral form. Not every word is compatible with every valid suffix either, because no logical definition could be derived sometimes. For example, washu'a'e, worlder, and washu'a'o, worldy, do make sense as a creator of the world, God, and the inhabitants of the world. The general nominal suffixes cannot be attached to a native nominal root. However, the agentive and patientive suffixes can be. But in this case, washu'a'e, washu'a'o, washuya'e, and washu'ya'o have no logical meaning that could be derived, and hence their spots are empty. Scientific nouns, generally borrowed from Latin, can have the general nominal suffix, but it's unnecessary as it does not change the meaning. Root words are mostly created by 3 means. 1. Caricaturing or adapting sounds into a word, like zjaka, draw or create, is the sound of a pen drawing on a piece of paper. 2. Deriving or fusing words from foreign languages, like bakush, box, from English box, and from Malay bekas, container. 3. Fusing existing root words in Oiruan, like bakajak, circle, from baka, head, and jaka, draw or create, literally meaning drawn head. Affixes are attached to these root words to create more narrow and niche meanings, as mentioned before. The iteration mark can be used to induce plural for nouns, repetition for verbs, intensification to adjectives, or overall emphasis on a particular word. To iterate something, root words are duplicated, while affixes are ignored. All words can also be negated with the adjective daro'u, false, fake, not, to convey the opposite meaning. On the other hand, yata'u means to not do something, or it's not that thing. It does not necessarily flip the meaning of the word. Pronouns are formed from the word e'i, for person or individual. There are singular and plural forms, but no differences in gender, animacy, or cases. Each pronoun can be shortened as shown in the table. As I am recording this, to grow is the only song/project/thing I've done in Oiruan. Again, it isn't the best representation of the language. I will read a few lines of the lyrics to show you how I envisioned it to sound. Eju o oshu, jika kurashu jure. Eju o oshu abe uwa ejire. Aje ia, dove ia, aje uwa, dove uwa. Jo ate prachiju kitik takte. Faruni na nowa o aahishu de io kieju. Shikji i daro ure. Ejina no oshu faro o iki a o daro u da o oshu tavdaka o te. So, that was Oiruan. There was a lot more that I wanted to mention, but this is getting a bit too long. I will work hard to make more Oiruan content in the future, as well as perfect the language. A lot are going to be changed and tweaked bit by bit, so when the time comes, I will do an update video. Thank you for your support, and thank you for listening. Tsasiki.ua.